Our First Lady and all the diaspora and our experts and ministers and everybody who has come. I'm sorry I was not prepared to speak at this time, but I'm given this opportunity to say a few words. I first of all want to appreciate this forum. It is a very, very important forum because the people you are speaking to, the people who are being addressed they are called in quotes diaspora. When I was in the Ministry of Planning, I used to hear of diaspora, but I didn't know their weight. But the weight I felt when I became a member of parliament. When I became a member of parliament and we introduced something called CDF, the CDF was being given according to poverty index. And in my constituency called Bondo, the poverty index at the time CDF was introduced was about 57%. But within a very short time, a period of less than 10 years, the index had come down from 55% to 26%. And that meant that the money which was being allocated to me as in CDF terms was being reduced by 10 million shillings. I got shocked. I went to the Statistics Bureau. You know, we used to work in the same ministry together. I went to ask them, what is the criteria you people used to reduce the allocation to my constituency by more than 10 million shillings? Then they told me the poverty index has reduced from 57% to 26%. And I told them, how? What has happened? We don't have industry in Bondo. Where have people gotten the money to improve their welfare? And they said it is diaspora. Diaspora from your constituency are contributing money, people are working, they are earning, and they are bringing that money back home. And that money which they are bringing home is what is improving the welfare of your people, and therefore improving because there is poverty, there is food poverty, and there is absolute poverty. Food poverty includes access to food and availability of food. You know, food can be available but not accessible. Because if it is available and you don't have money to buy it, it is not accessible. It is just available but not accessible. So they told me in all those indexes, our people have improved. So diaspora is a very, very important constituency in our development agenda. And I'm happy, Jim, that you have identified them and brought them together. And when they are here, they will tell us how much do they invest. And I have heard you encouraging them to invest. Because investors, you know, when people talk of investors, they always think of wazungu, they always think of people coming from outside. But the most important investment is the investment from within. It is our own investment. It is our own people. So this forum, I think, is a very, very important forum for us to discuss what can we do to invest back home. Agriculture has been identified as the prime mover of development in our county. But the investment in agriculture, you know, this is a story we have heard, Grace, we have heard that story with you for years and years, that agriculture is the driver of development. It is the backbone of our economy. But then when it comes to investment, there is 4%. Kenya has been investing 3%, 2% in agriculture. How do you expect agriculture to be the backbone when you are not investing in it? You have to invest in agriculture. In the Maputo Declaration, it was 10%. Kenya has not even reached half of that. So we should encourage, investment. That national government, but now we have our own government, which is the devolved government. How much? Because you have talked of adding tractors, but then we want to see that in percentage of the whole development agenda. How much of that are you investing in agriculture? So that we can believe that actually you are giving agriculture the attention that it requires, so that it becomes a driver. You have also talked of value addition. Value addition is critical because you can produce, agriculture can produce, but it can produce only for subsistence. If it produces for subsistence, it is not going to move our people out of poverty, because it is from hand to mouth. They will just be farming to pay the daily costs, to pay school fees, to have their food, enough food to eat, but then nothing beyond that. So this value addition is something which again does not require big monies from outside. You people, you can invest home and do value addition. Jim has said they are investing in a rice mill. How about processing of fish? Why don't we process our fish for export? Fish has very big markets in Europe and even in the Middle East, where we can exploit and export our fish. They want our fish, but we cannot do it without processing. And some few factories in Kisumu are doing this and that, but the fish is coming from us in Siaya. Why don't we invest in processing of fish? And it doesn't have to be big investors. How about maize itself? Do we have a serious maize mill in Siaya? Do we have a serious maize mill in Siaya? We should be having a big maize mill so that we can also, apart from rice, we also process maize and have it as a processed product. But I was only to make a few remarks. Governor, I'm very sorry. I went beyond what I should have said. Only that when he talked of bottoms up, I didn't like it. Because Grace, you know that we tried what was called district focus for rural development. It was meant to start development from the grassroots coming up. But it failed because of the lack of commitment. It failed because of lack of the systems to implement it. And now we have system which is devolved. These people who are in government, they are not serious about this. Strengthening devolution. But it is our responsibility to do it. Don't think that that model called bottoms up is something you want to emulate. There's nothing there like that. Let us find a way of strengthening devolution, because this is developing a system which lacked, and that is why the district focus for rural development failed. Thank you, Bwana Governor. Asante sana, and excuse me. Politicians, when you give them this thing, they don't want to leave.
Thank you. Bottoms up is a phrase, and I can tell you, Waziri there was using it in a very different context. But in saying the same, there used to be one of the greatest Chinese leaders, that small man called Deng, when he was opening up China. He used to say that when it came to development issues and investment in China and the like, he didn't care whether the cat was black or white, so long as it can catch mice. And that single statement, I think China has received today, whereas a closed political system to some extent, you may say, but a very open system in terms of industry and development. And Russia is closed in many ways, comparatively. Now, I've stood up not to make another speech, but I just